Hello duelists, Rustmarrow here, and today we're going to be opening Structure Deck R, Lord of Magician. I've also decided to host my very first Yu-Gi-Oh giveaway on this channel, so if you want to find out how you can get a brand new copy of this Structure Deck for yourself, make sure you guys stick around till the end of this video. As usual, here is our Structure Deck playmat, starting off with the brand new version of Endymion Master Magician in the center, and on the left and right we have brand new Endymion monsters as well to sort of support the Endymion archetype, which is sort of becoming a thing with this Structure Deck. And on the left here we have Empress of Endymion, and on the right I believe we do have the brand new Link monster version of Daybreaker, the Magical Warrior. Starting things off, we have the boss card of this brand new spell counter based Structure Deck, the brand new version of Endymion Master Magician, Endymion the Founding Sorcerer Supreme, although his Japanese name translates more literally to the Founding Magical King, Endymion. Now, I'm not a big fan of those kind of like really cool mage type characters, but I cannot deny that the design and artwork of this card is really awesome, especially with like those background effects, like those light particles for like the magic circle above Endymion. Although on a whole, I have to say that I think I do prefer the design and artwork of the original Endymion better. Anyways, let's move into Endymion's effects, starting with its monster effects. Its first effect is a quick effect. Once per turn, when the effect of a spell or trap card is activated, you can return one card you control with a spell counter to the hand, and if you do, negate the activation and destroy that card. Then you can place spell counters on this card equal to the number of spell counters that were on the card that you return to the hand. Second effect, as long as this card has a spell counter on it, your opponent cannot target or destroy Endymion with card effects. So basically just a really powerful combination. Already with its first effect, which allows it to negate spells and traps, you're giving it like even more protection on top of that with the second, as long as it's gonna get a spell counter, which is going to be very easy in this deck, so making this a really durable and difficult boss for your opponent to deal with. Third effect, when this card with a spell counter is destroyed by battle, you can add one normal spell from your deck to your hand. So basically with the protection offered by its first and second effects, your opponent is probably gonna just have to bust Endymion through battle, but then in the end you're still gonna get rewarded with that with a surge. So overall, I just feel that this boss is just really powerful in that sense, and no matter what you do with it, as long as you really get it out on the field, it's gonna like really contribute to your strategies and plays. Now let's look at its Pendulum Effect. You can remove 6 spell counters from your field, special summon this card from your Pendulum Zone, then destroy cards on the field up to the number of cards you control that you can place a spell counter on. And if you do, place spell counters on this card equal to the number of cards destroyed. You can only use this effect of Endymion the Founding Sorcerer Supreme once per turn. So yes, just a really flashy and powerful way to like instantly bring this guy on the field, which is obviously going to be really rewarding more towards the mid game and end game when you have a lot of cards that are compatible with spell counters on the field, allowing you to basically wreck your opponent's field with tons of destruction, while at the same time rewarding yourself with a bunch of spell counters that are just going to sit on top of Endymion. So essentially, as long as you special summon Endymion through this method, you're going to get at least one spell counter on top of him, which automatically makes him immune to effect targeting and destruction thanks to his second monster effect. So yes, overall quite a deadly boss. Anyway, let's move on and check out the other Pendulum monsters. Wait, it comes with 2? Isn't this too good? Like, since when do structure decks give you 2 copies of the cards? Wait, I'm not even sure if this is supposed to happen. Do let me know in the comment section if you've watched other openings and it only comes with 1, because I have no idea if this is what's supposed to happen. Never seen this happen in a Yu-Gi-Oh structure deck before. Anyway, up next we have a very vital super rare spell for the deck. So this is Spell Power Control, and I believe you veteran players will understand when I say that this card is basically the enhanced Spell Power Grasp. So basically, you can only activate 1 spell power control per turn, add 1 Endymion card from your deck to your hand, then you can place as many spell counters as possible on cards you control, up to the number of spell power control and spell power grasp you control, and in your graveyard. So yes, this card is basically gonna really accelerate your spell counter gathering by rewarding you for the more times you cast it and the more times you cast Spell Power Grasp, which was the older iteration in the older version of this structure deck, which basically gave spell counters to cards on your field. Not only that, this card also lets you search for Endymion. So you're probably going to be running a lot of this because it's just good all around. It's practically a search for like the key cards in your deck, including your boss, as well as fueling your strategies as well with spell counters. So just a very powerful spell. And now it looks like we are moving out of the region of foils into our normal parallel rares, and this is one of the new Endymion cards, another Pendulum, Magister of Endymion. You can only special summon Magister of Endymion once per turn. First effect, when this card declares an attack, you can place one spell counter on it. So that just sounds like a really cheap way to gain spell counters, but considering it only has 1500 attack, I guess it might not be the most viable decision to attack with this guy in every situation. Second effect, which is a quick effect, once per opponent's turn, you can remove 3 spell counters from your field. Special summon one monster that you can place a spell counter on from your deck. So wait, that is pretty insane. That's basically just your free boss coming out right there. Third effect, if this card in a monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in one of your pendulum zones. Then place spell counters on this card equal to the number of spell counters that were on this card. So very nice. I really like how, let's say in the early game, since this monster is just level 3, you summon him out and then you attack him early on so that you sort of like accumulate spell counters. Then when your opponent finally destroys it, while it's a monster, you can just shift it to the pendulum zone and you get to keep all the spell counters on your field. That's just great. Now let's look at its pendulum effect. Each time a spell card is activated, place one spell counter on this card when that spell resolves. So wow, even after like using it as a monster to accumulate spell counters, after it's destroyed and sent to the pendulum zone, it can help you accumulate even more. Second pendulum effect, you can remove 3 spell counters from this card. Special summon this card from your pendulum zone and one face-up monster that you can place a spell counter on from your extra deck. I haven't seen the whole deck yet, so I'm not sure what the other options are, but I believe the brand new Daybreaker can do this, the new version of Breaker the Magical Warrior. And if you do, place one spell counter on both this card as well as that extra deck monster that you just special summoned. Wow, I'm not sure how much they're going to support this. Like, are they going to develop even more extra deck monsters that can have spell counters placed on them? Because that would really widen the options of this deck so much, even though now I can't remember any others off the top of my head, only the brand new Daybreaker that's released in this deck as well. But yeah, it just feels so good. Like the amount of accumulation and recycling of spell counters with this card alone just makes this deck and the spell counter decks in general just seem so much more viable and powerful and fast. Anyway, let's move on to the next card, and that is going to be Servant of Endymion. You can only special summon Servant of Endymion once per turn. First effect, this card with a spell counter can attack directly. Second effect, once per opponent's turn, this is a quick effect, you can discard one card, place one spell counter on this card, and each card you control that you can place a spell counter on. So wow, that is a really interesting effect, and another really quick way to accumulate spell counters if you have many compatible cards on your field. Third effect, if this card in a monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your pendulum zone, then place spell counters on this card equal to the number of spell counters that were on this card. So we're starting to see a trend here. This is the same effect as Magister of Endymion, helping you preserve the spell counters that you accumulate on this card while it's a monster. First pendulum effect, each time a spell card is activated, place one spell counter on this card when that spell resolves, so same as Magister. Second pendulum effect, you can remove 3 spell counters from this card, special summon this card from your pendulum zone, and one monster with 1000 attack or more that you can place a spell counter on from your deck. And if you do, place one spell counter on each of them. So wow, okay. So first we have Magister that pulls out a spell counter compatible cards from the extra deck. Now we have Servant that basically pulls out your bosses from your deck and gives them a free starting spell counter, which you know that's the key one that basically makes your main boss, Endymion, the founding Sorcerer Supreme, essentially invulnerable. And yes, into the realm of reprints here we have the original Endymion Master Magician. And here are, okay, so this is Endymion Lab, and it's a continuous magic card, and it basically follows the trend of sort of like being a substitute for the field spell of the archetype. You can only activate one Endymion Lab per turn. First effect, this card's name becomes Magical Citadel of Endymion while it is on the field. Second effect, Each time a spell card is activated, place one spell counter on this card when that spell resolves. Third effect, once per turn after damage calculation, if your spellcaster monster is destroyed by battle, you can remove 6 spell counters from your field. Special summon one level 7 or higher spellcaster monster from your hand or deck. So basically, yeah, it is just another engine that exchanges a lot of spell counters to get your boss out. So it just seems to be like, overall this deck is really just pushing towards accumulating as much spell counters as possible, preserving your spell counters, and once you have enough, really bringing out your bosses to bring down that beatdown. And up next, we have the magical Citadel of Endymion. Nice reprint and more reprints coming right up. Now I don't think that you got... Wait, is this new? Okay, nope, this is Magic Beast Magister from the Magic Beast archetype, but I don't know why, I just can't seem to remember ever seeing it. Oops, accidentally took one of the extra cards there. So we are seeing quite a lot of some extra like pendulum support as well to sort of fit in with the pendulum theme of this deck. And ooh, I didn't know they were putting this card in. Black Magician of Chaos, Summon Priest, and here we have a Prophecy card. Ooh, Magical Undertaker, that's nice. More reprints, and this is Spell Power Grasp, because of course they have reprinted in this set and they are giving 2 copies of it. Very nice. I do believe there should be at least one more new card. Let's just keep going, I'm sure it'll turn up eventually. Terraforming, I'm just gonna go a bit faster. Just looking at reprints. Okay, and yes, it looks like we are entering some brand new territory, and yes, here we have 2 of the remaining new cards. So here is the evolution of Breaker the Magical Warrior, Daybreaker the Splendid Magical Knight. As a Link 2 monster, you'll need 2 Spellcaster monsters to Link Summon this card. This card name's 3rd and 4th effects can only be activated once per turn. First effect, if this card is Link Summoned, place 1 spell counter on it. Very nice tribute to the original Breaker. Second effect, this card gains 300 attack for each spell counter on it. And very nice again, very similar to the original Breaker, all those nostalgia feels coming in. Third effect, if a spellcaster monster or monsters is special summoned to a zone this card points to, place 1 spell counter on this card. So deck is a very reliable source of new spell counters, which was lacking in the original Daybreaker. I mean the original Breaker, but of course the original one could only hold 1 counter. Fourth and final effect, you can remove 2 spell counters from this card, then target 1 card on the field. Destroy it. So on a whole, just love how faithful and loyal it is to the original Breaker's effect. It really feels like the evolution of a really old card that we're really familiar with and used to, and finally getting like an evolution that it deserves after so long, so I really appreciate this card for that. And of course it is an extra deck monster compatible with spell counters, so you're going to be able to combo it with Magister. And here's our final card. Guidance of Spell Salvation. You can only activate 1 card with this name per turn. Target 1 spellcaster effect monster in your grave and add it to your hand. So very simple, very powerful, basically like a spellcaster version of the warrior returning alive. But I mean, if you guys are veteran players, you guys will all know that how powerful these sorts of retrieval cards can be, especially in really clutch situations. And that will be all for this structure deck opening. And yes, so amazingly, I just checked the card list for this structure deck online, and you are only supposed to get 1 boss as per usual. That is the way that structure decks in Yu-Gi-Oh work. So what exactly does this second card mean? It's basically they put in the wrong card, because this card is supposed to be, my second Endymion is actually supposed to be Empress of Endymion, which is another new card which I'm kind of salty about not getting, because I mean I don't really plan on building a deck with this, so I'm really buying this structure deck mainly for collecting the cards. So I'd much prefer to get like the normal ratio of 1 Endymion and 1 Empress, but somehow or other I've ended up with a misprint of 2 Endymions. Anyway, I'm sure you guys have been waiting for details of the giveaway, so let me start by telling you guys what you guys stand to win. So if you do manage to be lucky enough to win this giveaway, there are 2 potential prizes you can choose from. First, you can choose a brand new copy of this Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh OCG Structure Deck R Lord of Magician, like the one that I've just opened. But you will be getting a completely new set that will be completely untouched and unopened, so I have no guarantee whether you'll end up like me and get 2 reprints of Endymion, or whether you end up with like a normal deck and get 1 copy of Endymion and 1 copy of the Empress. Now the second option for those of you guys who live over on the other side of the world and play the English Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, you guys have the option of claiming a brand new copy of the TCG equivalent of this structure deck when it comes out, which apparently is not going to be very far away, because Structure Deck Order of the Spellcasters is set to release in North America on 19th April and for Europe on April 25th. So somewhere around next month, you guys will be able to redeem and receive this prize. But how exactly do you enter this giveaway? Very simple. You don't have to be subscribed to me. All you really have to do is go down to the comment section of this video and leave a comment telling me what your favorite spellcaster monster in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Series is. Now, I know there are a lot of them, and for those of you who are like veteran players like me who've been here since the beginning from Duel Monsters, I'm pretty sure you guys can't wrap your heads around every single spellcaster monster we've ever seen, ever encountered, and ever used in like the past 10 or maybe up to 20 years. So it's okay, you don't have to be like super exact or super precise and really go back and trace all of the spellcaster monsters out there and decide which one's your true favorite. Just at this point of time, if there's any spellcaster monster that really resonates with you, that you really like for either the effect or the artwork, or maybe its role in one of the anime series or something like that, just feel free to leave a comment about it. Just tell me which card it is, make sure it's a spellcaster, and tell me the reason why you like it or why it's your favorite. And basically, you guys will have 1 week to leave that comment and enter the giveaway. I will only count the entries up till next Friday, the 15th of March, at 12 midnight GMT plus 8 local Singapore time. So I will leave the details in a comment that I will pin at the bottom of this video. So if you feel unsure about anything, just make sure to check out that comment, because all the information will be there. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like and let me know what you guys think about these brand new Spellcaster Pendulum spell counter based cards in the comment section down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG booster box and product openings on the day of release. Our next release will be within the month, and it will be Starter Deck 2019 on March 23rd. Unfortunately, I don't plan on doing a giveaway for that one. But in any case, hope to see you guys in the next Yu-Gi-Oh! video.
Go my way, I'll fly the wind, dance like the wind, tearing through